If there's one thing chess is famous for, it's the fact that its games can go on for a long time. But that doesn't necessarily apply to all games. In fact, even in the world of elite chess, there are certain wins that take place at blink and you'll miss it speeds, and we are going to go over some of them. From televised games that finished in less than 10 moves to people winning against others while using a tenth of their opponent's time, here are the fastest wins in chess. Nahal versus Sarin. It is one thing for a player to be fast enough to judge which move is correct, but there are some prodigies out there whose speed of making that move is also impressive. So when you put those two things together, you can get people like India's Nahal Sarin. You see, not only is Sarin the youngest player to have a 2600 plus ELO rating at 14 years old, but he is also one of the fastest players to come out into the chess scene in terms of both his playing ability and just general energy around the board. Just look at this practice match. Mind you, his opponent here is a grandmaster himself and is many years Sarin's senior, but from the very start it should be obvious to anyone that these two are not on level footing. In fact, it takes him less than 2 minutes to end the match entirely, and he does it without slowing down his insane aggressive speed, even for 1 second. Carlson versus Gates. Now, not all competitions like the one we just saw are on equal footing between professionals. In fact, the best time to see just how incredible an expert really is by comparing their performance against an average player, because that shows you exactly why these people are so beyond everyone else. One of the greatest examples of this is the match that the world champion and arguably the greatest player of the past decade or two, Magnus Carlson, played against Bill Gates. That's right, the same Bill Gates who is known for his intelligence and other things, as shown by the fact that he was, at one point, the richest man in history. You see, the two people in question were being interviewed on television, and during a discussion about intelligence and all the different kinds it can take, namely Gates' technical and business knowledge and Carlson's incredible chess ability, it was revealed that Gates was also an avid chess player in his free time. So when a match was proposed, both parties agreed pretty easily.
I'll have 30 seconds. You can have as much time as you want.
Now, no one there expected Gates to be the one to win by a long shot, but the speed and manner in which Carlson was able to defeat the Microsoft founder was still simply incredible. That's right, for those keeping count, that victory took Carlson a total of 11 seconds. Now that is what I call impressive. In fact, this is not the only time Carlson has humbled someone from outside the field who otherwise would be beyond dissent. Nakamura versus So. Both Hikaru Nakamura and Wesley So are names that should be familiar to anyone who takes their chess seriously. The former is one of the most renowned speed chess players in the world, surpassing even the likes of Magnus Carlsen when it comes to blitzes, and Wesley So has consistently remained one of the strongest players the world has ever seen in recent years, holding the title of youngest grandmaster and one of the most consistent top 10 players in the world. So when the two play a game against one another, it is pretty reasonable to expect that the game might go on for a long while. But that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. In fact, one time when the two legends competed against one another in the Meltweather Champions Tour, they managed to reach a draw in less than 22 seconds. Don't believe me? Just take a look for yourself. I've got to say, while it's not the most impressive of plays, I can't help but respect their recognition of it being a stalemate. Carlson versus Monson. Another time that someone from outside the chess world decided to challenge Carlson was when fellow Norwegian and famous journalist Lars Monson decided to play against Magnus for another televised event. Only this time, Monson had a plan on how to level the playing field. You see, he figured that while he could not beat Carlson in a perfectly even match, he might at least get himself a shot if he changed the rules a bit. His way of doing that? Changing their respective allotted times. You see, while he himself had the standard speed chess time of 3 minutes, Carlson was given only 30 seconds to play all of his moves. Now, against your regular masters and international masters, this strategy would mean a sure win for Monson, but he was playing against the GOAT. And you guessed it, in seemingly no time, Carlson not only managed to hold his own, alone, he actually ended up owning the time advantage, and if that wasn't enough, he went ahead and simply beat Monson twice by also checking him over the already guaranteed time victory. Pragnananda vs. Sarin. Of all the recent chess prodigies to have come out in recent years, few have made as big of a mark as the Indian legend Ramesh Babu Pragnananda. Not only is he one of the best players to come out of the country, he has already beaten the likes of Magnus Carlson, culminating in his victory against the current world champion last year. But he doesn't always like to show off against international players. Occasionally, he also plays classical games against fellow Indian legends like the other Grandmaster prodigy Nahal Sarin. In fact, to see just how impressive both of these fellows are, I'm not even going to commentate on their play. Just bask in the glory of this unedited, non-sped up footage and see just what makes these guys so incredible. I would be lying if I said that I could follow most of that match, but even behind that speed is an elegant play, especially near the end with that insane checkmate by Pragnananda. No wonder people are already predicting that the guy is going to be the next Magnus Carlson. Rapport vs. Nakamura. Coming back to the legend that is Hikaru Nakamura, occasionally within the chess world, people can sometimes develop habits when playing against specific players. And nowhere is that more apparent than with Nakamura's relationship with Hungarian prodigy and fellow grandmaster Richard Rapport. Those two seem to have penchant for ending their matches in draws. But the one we were about to show you is a particularly impressive one because, well, it happens in less than 30 seconds. That's right, two of the wildest chess players in the world playing like clockwork ended at a draw before you could say both of their names. Nakamura versus Carlson. Just like any other game out there, the world of chess also has its so-called titans. And when any of these big hitters clash, you can expect the matches to go wild pretty easily. The perfect example of this is the following game between the two most well-known chess giants today, Hikaru Nakamura and Magnus Carlson. You see, while Carlson is the undisputed champion of classical, Nakamura actually ranks higher in Blitz chess. The game started pretty standard, with Nakamura putting forth a queen's gambit and Magnus replying with a strong defense in return. However, in just a handful of moves, the game was already reaching potential checks. In fact, by the 10th move, the game was moving on pretty rapidly with strong moves from either side. That is until Magnus makes a mistake by moving his knight to the center without a clear defensive position for his other attacking piece, the bishop at b4. Soon, in a handful of moves and after some trades, Magnus starts to falter and look distressed, signaling the end of the game, which comes just a few short moves after which Magnus resigns. All in all, this 25-minute game took only 17 moves to finish, an insanely short amount of time for players of this caliber. And there you have it, folks. Some of the shortest lasting games in the history of chess of both varieties. I hope you enjoyed watching the video, and if you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more chess content. With that, take care, and I will see you guys next time.